The sun was setting over a quiet suburban road when flashing red and blue lights suddenly appeared in the rearview mirror. Darius, a calm and disciplined man in his late 30s, pulled his car to the side without hesitation. He had done nothing wrong, yet he knew what was coming. The officer who approached the car wore an expression of superiority. His posture, his smirk, even the way he tapped on the window made it clear he wasn't here for a routine check. "License and registration?" he barked, his voice filled with arrogance rather than professionalism. Darius complied silently, handing over the documents. But instead of reviewing them, the officer leaned closer and muttered something under his breath. Words laced with prejudice. Darius's jaw tightened, but his training taught him patience. He wasn't just any man in a car. He was a decorated Navy SEAL, a man who had served his country with honor in places this officer could never imagine. The officer, however, saw only what he wanted to see. "What's a guy like you driving a car like this?" he sneered, circling the vehicle as if searching for a reason to escalate the situation. Passers-by slowed down, watching, sensing the tension growing on the roadside. When Darius tried to explain he was heading home from work, the officer cut him off, accusing him of lying. His voice grew louder, more aggressive, as though he enjoyed the small crowd gathering nearby. But every accusation was met with calm silence from Darius, who never raised his voice, never flinched. Finally, the officer decided to push further. He ordered Darius out of the car, clearly expecting fear and compliance. What he didn't know was that the man standing before him had endured battles far greater than a roadside stop. And with each word, each insult, the officer was unknowingly walking closer to a lesson he would never forget. Darius stepped out of the car slowly, his broad frame towering over the officer. His movements were calm, deliberate, and disciplined, the kind of presence that came only from years of training. The officer, trying to mask his unease, placed his hand on his holster, as though intimidation would restore his authority. But the atmosphere had shifted. The small crowd that had gathered sensed it. The officer's bravado was starting to crack, while Darius stood firm, unshaken. "Hands where I can see them," the officer barked, but his voice now carried less confidence. Darius raised his hands without resistance. His deep, steady voice broke the tension. "Officer, I served this country for nearly 2 decades. I've defended freedom overseas while men like you mocked it here at home." His words cut sharper than any weapon, forcing silence across the roadside. The officer blinked, caught off guard. He hadn't expected this man to speak with such authority. Darius continued, his eyes locked on the officer. "I am a Navy SEAL. I've faced enemies who were stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous than you. Yet none of them disrespected me the way you just did." Gasps spread through the onlookers. Whispers traveled quickly. "He's a Navy SEAL." Suddenly, the officer's arrogance melted into embarrassment. He shifted uncomfortably, realizing he had picked a fight with someone who embodied everything he claimed to protect. For the first time, the officer's voice wavered. "Sir, I didn't know." But Darius cut him off. "That's the problem. You never asked. You assumed. And today, that assumption exposed you." The crowd erupted in applause, their voices drowning out the officer's shame. Darius calmly returned to his car, his dignity intact. The officer, left standing in silence, had just learned a lesson he would carry for the rest of his career. Never judge a man by the color of his skin, by the strength of his character.